We are still getting people trickling in. So sorry, we are starting a little late. We are having technical problems, which isn't that just the story of life here? And Mercury is in retrograde, which I only found out recently. And maybe we would have planned the conference around that if I had known ahead of time. But we are so excited to welcome you back and get started in this amazing session. We are so lucky to get to have Naima Penniman with us from Soulfire Farms, and we're going to get to see their keynote address video. That is what we're working on right now, getting that loaded up. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna tell you all a little bit about Mississippi Farm to School Network and give you, blame it on the retrograde, yes, thank you. I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about Mississippi Farm to School Network and the stuff we have going on and the opportunities. So it's a great opportunity to get to talk to you more about it. And that way I don't have to cut us off early to do it at the end. So as many of you know, Mississippi Farm to School Network, our job is to connect schools and farms in Mississippi to do local procurement and get local food into school cafeterias in front of our students from early child care up through high school. We've worked with universities and colleges in the past as well. Really farm to institution, farm to early child care, the whole spectrum. And then in normal times, we also have a huge emphasis on school gardens and school garden work, getting kids out there, learning, their hands in the soil. We know, as our co-director Dorothy likes to say, if a kid helps grow it or if a kid helps cook it, they will definitely eat it. And so those school gardens are a great place to do that. When the pandemic broke out in March of last year, we shifted our resources, our energy, and our funding towards home gardens. And I know a lot of you here today found out about us during that process. So we now give out grants to families hoping to start gardens at home. We've given out close to 600 of those, and we've got more to give. So if you are on the line and you are part of a family who would like to start a garden or expand your garden, please apply and spread the word and let people know, now's the time to be shopping those seed catalogs and checking it out and getting ready for the spring planting time. Along with the home garden grant, we have a whole database of resources available to you. And co-director Dorothy, who is our garden goddess, has made some beautiful videos to help you get started, including a list of what you need to buy to start growing. And then she's also available to everyone as somebody who can help figure out all those dirty details of gardening. At the end of this session, a short evaluation will pop up as the window closes, and we hope that you all take that evaluation. Post-conference, we are going to be in touch via email, our newsletter, and Facebook with y'all about some regional networking sessions that'll be over Zoom. Unfortunately, we will be able to get back together eventually, but for now, over Zoom. And those are going to take place in each of the 5 regions of Mississippi so that we can make sure that people in those regions are connected and know one another, and we can start facilitating more of that growing. What else do I have for you? Oh, we have a virtual bulletin board. Let me post the link here where you can put any upcoming events or just things you want to share with the rest of the room, with the rest of the Zoom. We put that link here for y'all. And then please go in there and check out what's in there so far too. Really exciting is that the application for Food Corps service members just opened back up nationally, and we would love to have more people in Mississippi applying to be service members and staying in Mississippi and doing that good work. So let me check in with Randall and Sydney. How are we coming on the video?
We have almost got it.
Okay.
I think just about 1 more minute.
1 more minute. All right. The next session after this one is gardening experiences in the classroom, and that is with Tess Johnson and Rolando Roman, and that's going to be really incredible. So we hope you can join that one at 3:10. And then in this afternoon, we've got Cooking with Curiosity, which is the session by the Edible Schoolyard. And that's going to be super fun. Hopefully you can join that. And then, of course, we start tomorrow morning with our local procurement at 10. How to design regenerative gardens at 11:15. And then our final session of this formal conference is Racial Equity and Mississippi Food Systems, People, Places, Policies, and Values. And that is going to be a great opportunity to take all the collective learnings that we've had over the past day and the day tomorrow and apply them to the work that we do specifically in Mississippi. That is a not to be missed session. And we really hope that you can join in for that. There's going to be breakout rooms, and then we're going to close the conference together there. So even if you don't go to that session, please tune in at 2:30 so we can all close together. And then we have a really fun, just kind of a fun add-on, which is a cooking demo with Elizabeth High School, Chef Elizabeth High School. And that'll be at 6 p.m. tomorrow. And that'll be broadcast live on Facebook too. So very excited about the rest of the conference. All right, Sydney, Randall, have we got it?
Greetings, everyone. So honored to be here and very excited to share this presentation with you once we get beyond these technical hiccups. And in the meantime, I would love to offer a poem just to ground us into ourselves, our connections with each other, and our connection to nature, who has so many lessons available to us. And before I begin, I wonder, Sunny, if you could make it possible for me to turn my video on so folks can see me. Hi. All right, so this is a poem that I want to dedicate to all the human beings who are out there listening. It's called Being Human, and it's about the lessons that nature has to teach us about our human experience, and I hope you can relate. I wonder if the sun debates dawn some mornings, not wanting to rise out of bed from under that down feather horizon. If the sky grows tired of being everywhere at once, adapting to the mood swings of the weather. If clouds drift off, trying to hold themselves together, make deals with gravity to loiter a little longer. I wonder if rain is scared of falling, if she has trouble letting go, if snowflakes get sick of being perfect all the time, each one trying to be, one of a kind. I wonder if stars wish upon themselves before they die. If they need to teach their young how to shine, I wonder if shadows long to just for once feel the sun. If they get lost in the shuffle, not knowing where they're from, I wonder if sunrise and sunset respect each other, even though they've never met. If storms have regrets, if volcanoes get stressed, if compost believes in life after death. I wonder if breath ever thinks of suicide. If the wind just wants to sit still sometimes and watch the world pass him by. If smoke was born knowing how to rise. If rainbows get shy backstage, not sure if their colors match right. I wonder if lightning needs an alarm clock to know when to crack, if rivers ever stop and think of turning back, if streams meet the wrong sea and their whole lives run off track. I wonder if the snow wants to be black, if the soil thinks she's too dark, if butterflies want to cover up their marks, if rocks are self-conscious of their weight, if mountains are insecure of their strength. I wonder If waves get discouraged, crawling up the sand, only to be pulled back again to where they began. If land feels stepped upon, if sand feels insignificant, if trees need to question their lovers to know where they stand, if branches waver at the crossroads, unsure of which way to grow, if leaves understand they're replaceable and they still dance when the wind blows. I wonder where the moon goes when she is in hiding. I want to find her there and watch the ocean spin from a distance, listen to her stir in her sleep, effort give way to existence.
I just want to I can feel the cheers from home. I know I've been getting like text messages and emails, and there's the chat box, and here we've got Cagney with the applause. We're so lucky and blessed to have you with us, and to have gotten to watch the keynote, especially because Fannie Lou was so heavily featured, and Fannie Lou is our matron saint of Mississippi Farm to School Network. And I just have to point out too that we have Fannie Lou's niece in the room with us, Sheree Oates, for the Center for Change, is with us today. So it's all connected. It's all together. Really.
Yes. So powerful to know that, and I'm so honored to have this chance to connect even virtually with you all, and thank you for going on that storytelling journey and for the sacred gift of your attention. We at Soulfire Farm feel, incredibly blessed to be in solidarity with all of you soil stewards in Mississippi, and are so astounded by the work that you're doing there. So we're in it together.
Yeah. Sorry if you can hear some soil work happening outside my window right now. Someone is cutting grass strategically at this time. So please do, if you have questions, put them in the Q&A. We're going to try and get to just a couple questions we did go over, and we're going to push our next session back by 10 minutes. Oh no, we're going to push it till 3:30. So we'll do just a couple of questions in here, and if y'all have them, put them in the Q&A box. And I have one just to get us started. Something I think that's really beautiful about the work that happens at Soulfire is just this connection to both ancestors and farming practices from all over the country and all over the world. Can you talk about going into communities like that and how you all show up in spaces like that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a really important part of our practice, is to be in exchange with other farmers and to really learn and reclaim our ancestral practices. And we've had the opportunity to travel a number of times to one of my sister and brother and I ancestral homelands of Haiti to do exchanges with the farmers there. And while we have a very different climate, there are some things that apply. Haiti is a very mountainous place, and we're also on a mountainside here in Grafton, New York, on Mohican territory. And so we have a whole area of our farm that's on a slope that we modeled off of the terrace gardens, the Jardin La Cou, that we learned from our comrade farmers in Haiti. And also our farmer friends there are all about the Combit, the work party of collective, collaborative work at the beginning of the season, helping to prepare the ground. And so, on Monday, we're going to go to Sunny's farm and help prep the beds, and everybody will show out. And then the next day we'll show up at Cagney's farm and do the same thing. And there's really like a collective spirit to how labor happens. And we replicate that in our practices as well. And that is a relationship that was cultivated over just a number of years of real people to people solidarity. And I'll share another example of building a relationship of solidarity and friendship with some of the original stewards of the land that we're on, which are the Stockbridge Muncie Mohican band. And they were forcibly displaced to a reservation far away in northern Wisconsin in the late 1800s. And we developed a long distance relationship for a number of years, really taking cues on what, showing up in solidarity would look like. And that's involved voluntary taxation and a seed exchange, and developing a cultural respect easement that grants members of that tribal nation perpetual access to soul fire. And also working here on protesting and defeating pipeline expansion that goes through their sacred territory. And I'm excited to say that 2 winters ago, my sister Leah was able to travel to the reservation for the first time as an ambassador from Soulfire with gifts, and to get to meet with some of the tribal council, and also with Warren, who is a seed keeper and farmer. And he has shared with us the original Muncie black corn and white corn that's indigenous to the land that we're on, as a way to rematriate that seed here. And he gave us very specific instructions of how to plant it, and the exact size mounds and a spiral up to center, and then to plant it with its companions of the crawling bean and the buttercup squash. And so we have a Three Sisters garden, all with Muncie heritage seed that we steward. And every year we get more and more seed that we save for our planting, as well as to mail back to Warren so they can proliferate the seed where they are. And that's been a really powerful exchange that feels very tangible, something we interact with every season.
Wow, that's incredible. That was actually, my next question was going to be about y'all's relationship with the Mohicans, and so you answered that beautifully. And it just, Miss Bora says, now I understand why I cannot throw seed away. Thank you. It makes me think about how much the work at Soulfire is so intergenerational, that you have young people and elders and everything in between working together. Can you talk a little bit about how that's intentional at the farm?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all the generations of our community are so vital to this work here. And it's been really important and powerful that we're in communication and exchange of knowledge and ideas with our elders, and both in growing food as well as preserving and canning food. We've had like some incredible workshops from our elders, really listening and gleaning wisdom to pass down. And because we're a training farm, a community training farm, we see a huge amount of responsibility and inspiration in getting to build with our elder mentors. And then also the youth, like having the youth come here to the farm is always so much joy. And we have very young ones come, and a lot of up to high school, really all ages come. And my favorite, or just like share an example, is sometimes we'll get a crew of high school age youth to come through, and it's a mandatory field trip, and they're not necessarily feeling it. And I remember this one time where a couple of the guys were like staying in the van, not wanting to leave. Like, there's bugs out there. I don't want a bear to eat me. Like, where are we? Why are we in the boonies? Because we're like up in rural mountainside lands. But then eventually, coming out the van, not wanting to be left alone. And as the day progressed, just seeing more and more comfort and connection with the land. And this one day, it had part of the land was pretty muddy, and some of the youth were worried about getting their sneakers dirty. And so we're like, well, you could take them off. And they were like, better than getting my nice Jordans messed up. And so they started walking around barefoot and feeling like the mud squishing between their toes. It just erupted in laughter. And things just started to feel really relaxed. And it was really powerful because in our closing reflections, one of the very same young people who was reluctant to get out of the van said, this day was so transformative for me because it wasn't until I took my shoes off and I could feel the soil beneath my feet that it felt like my grandmother came up through my feet. Like I remember her for the first time in a long time. And I remember that she taught me how to garden. She taught me how to plant seeds and tend to plants. And like, I'm connected to this. Like, this is part of my story too. He started tearing up, remembering his grandma and just feeling her love and having this reconnection moment. And that to me is just one of many examples of this homecoming, of a sense of like healing our relationship to land, because so many of us have had like traumatic histories in our own lives or in our ancestry, being stolen from land, having land stolen from us, or being displaced and not having that experience of belonging and connection to land. And so I'm always really happy when we can feel a sense of safety, connection, and belonging to this like vast and miraculous creation that we're a part of, and reclaim that dignified place in the larger whole.
So true. And it just reminds me too about it resonates with our work with young people, and how it does feel like it takes such a long time to rebuild that relationship with the land, and to get our kids, into this. And then at the same time, it takes no time at all, like getting your hands in the soil, and like your dude with this feet. That's so cool. And I'm just thinking about our programs director who's on the call right now, Broderick, who does early childcare, in his tennis shoes. I could see him doing a similar
Yes.
on our team here. And now we know we'll just take them off and we'll do it barefoot.
There you go.
Well, I think we've had so few actually questions here because people are just so excited, and the video was so wonderful. And so I think we'll close up. A lot of people are asking if they can view it again. So we're not recording the actual video from this, but you can get it. Sydney put it in the box here, and there's just a ton of resources at Soulfire. I have my book, famous sister Leah, with I'm sure lots of support from Naima, created Farming While Black, which is a great resource as well. And Naima, where can we find you? Everyone's loving your poetry. Do you have a website or a space that we can?
Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful. Yeah. So if I put things in the chat, will everybody be able to see it, or did I say it out loud?
If you click panelists and attendees, and then you can follow it up with a link too, because a lot of people are like, are you writing these poems? They're so beautiful.
Yes. Yes, I love writing and sharing poetry. So I'll put that in the chat just in a moment. And then, yeah, Sydney, thank you for already encouraging people to browse Soulfire's website. We have so many resources there, including our Liberation on Land video series, which are a bunch of how-to videos on everything from like inoculating your own mushroom logs to honorable harvest to all different types of growing tips led by BIPOC experts, and virtual programs, even if you're far away, lots of resources, action plans, and more. So yeah, I hope that can be a way that we, stay connected and just keep the energy moving and the support moving between us all.
Yes, thank you so much. I think it's such a good reminder for us as people who do this work to remember like that there's work to be done and so much to learn, and that there's so much joy in this as well, in this connection and bringing in art and poetry into all of this work. All right, y'all. Excuse me. So thank you all so much for your patience and your forgiveness for all of our tech issues early on. We're so grateful you all stuck with us. We're going to push back the next session till 3:30 when you close this box. When we close out of the Zoom, there will be a survey link, so please fill that out so we know how we're doing. And yeah, I think just as a great reminder, this energy that we're building right now with Naima and with Soulfire is going to really come together for us tomorrow at our Racial Equity in Mississippi Food Systems session, which is at 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. So be sure you're signed up for that. And Naima, thank you so much. Please share our love with your family and your team. And I hope our paths cross many more times in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. Power to all of you, and hope the rest of the conference goes incredible. Take care.